at the glory there. That is some beautiful coffee. Well, the coffee's flowing and it's time to get going. Hey, welcome back to Questions Over Coffee. My name's Kevin Smith. It's good to see you again. Want a cup of coffee? Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss anything that's coming up on Questions Over Coffee. If you have a comment or a question, leave it in the section below. We'll get to it just as fast as we can. Today's question is the second half of Mike Wilt 92's question that was posed. As a reminder, here's what Mike writes. Perhaps another example. What ought a Christian do if he or she is hiding Anne Frank in their attic and Nazis are at the front door asking if you're hiding any Jews? Should we lie for the sake of protecting the innocent? Mike, I decided to do two different videos because the two questions that you posed do seem to be two different issues to an extent, at least. One of the things that you see in Scripture is that life trumps law in many cases. You see this when Jesus is dealing with the Pharisees on the Sabbath, as far as the healing of the man with the withered hand. You know, what should you do here? And they remain silent. And, he tells them, you'd pull a donkey out of a pit on the Sabbath, to basically save its life. Why not give this man back his health on the Sabbath? It'll spare his life, things of that nature. So, life trumps law in this particular case, as far as, should we lie to protect the lives of the innocent? But like we mentioned in the other video, Christians have come down on different sides of this particular issue. Some are hard and fast and say, no, we should absolutely not lie. We should tell the truth, and whatever the consequences are the consequences. As far as the Nazi type situation that you mentioned Anne Frank. I'm currently reading a book by Corrie ten Boom. It's called The Hiding Place. Fantastic book. It is a first-hand account of what happened during World War II to the lead up and the, at least some of the aftermath, I think. I haven't finished it yet. I'm about a third of the way through. But her and her sister came down on different sides of this issue. As far as they were hiding Jews, Nazis came, one lied and said, no, there's no Nazis here to protect them. The other said, yes, there are back there, So it's in some cases, a conscience issue as far as what to do as far as the lying goes. But one of the things that we see is that lying to protect yourself or to benefit yourself, whether it be, to get out of a sticky situation or to be promoted at work or to save your own life, that was considered sinful and should not be done. Let me give you a couple of examples. Take a look at Mark chapter 8, verses 34 through 38. Mark writes, "And he summoned the crowd with his disciples and said to them, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's will save it. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? For what will a man give in exchange for his soul? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, the Son of Man will also be ashamed of him when he comes in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. So Jesus makes it pretty clear right there that lying to save our own skin or, to benefit ourselves, whatever the case is not acceptable in God's sight. But let me give you another example, this one by the Apostle Paul in Ephesians 4:20 through 25. Paul writes, "But you did not learn Christ in this way, if indeed you have heard him and have been taught in him, just as truth is in Jesus, that in reference to your former manner of life, you lay aside the old self which is being corrupted in accordance with the lusts of deceit, and that you be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and put on the new self, which in the likeness of God has been created in righteousness and holiness of the truth. Therefore, laying aside falsehood, speak truth, each one of you with his neighbor, for we are members of one another." So Paul makes it pretty clear here and in other places as well that we are not the same as we once were. We have been washed. We have the Spirit living within us, molding and shaping us, that we are supposed to toss that old self aside. Get rid of it and don't bring it back in. So in this regard, lying is, the old self. It needs to be done away with and never be dug up again. How does that relate to save a life of an innocent person? Well, that is the key question. As far as saving the life of another, like we said at the beginning, Christians have come down on different sides of this issue. Some will say a lie is a lie is a lie, and some will say life trumps law in this particular case. But this is a motive call in this particular case, because what are you doing? Are you seeking to save a life, or are you seeking to get ahead or save your own life? Those are not the same things, so it may come down to motive. I can tell you that I would be more willing to save a life by doing this than I would be willing to, say, serve in the CIA or in the undercover portion of law enforcement. That's a personal thing of mine. So I have a question for you. What criteria would you use to make this particular call as far as lying or not lying to save the life of an innocent person? Leave me a comment in the section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss anything that's coming up on Questions Over Coffee. Thank you for joining us today. I look forward to the next time. Have a blessed week. Keep pressing forward.